Welcome to it. It's a Saturday night in Bonner, Kansas. You're joining us at our last chance date, our lucky 8 here in our multi-GP Pro Spec. We're off to the line. We had 36 pilots. Now we are vying for those last 4 positions to make it into our next 16. We are underway here in a double elimination bracket of our lucky 8. Watching Viper Wheelman, your top 2 here at the front, grinding it out back and forth. It is Viper just ahead of Wheelman. Top 2 in this advance to the semifinal, or I guess the final of the winner's bracket to advance up, and then everyone with a chance. We've lost Excavator. Dua Loop is back in the caboose, and, well, Wheelman was running second. He had a little bit of an issue there. Still solid in second. We'll see if it opens the door here for Dua Loop to move from third into first here on the opening lap. Now on to lap 2. We take your leader, Viper. Wheelman is about 3 gates back and on that lead lap as well. Dua Loop, who's now banging on the backside of Wheelman. Looks like we're only separated by just under 4.5 seconds between our remaining 3 here in our lucky 8. Our race off is for those bottom few positions in our next 16. Issues there for Dua Loop out of that dive gate, and still with momentum. Not sure if it's going to be enough. We're on lap number 3 now. Still chasing Viper. He is fastest on the track here, about 9/10 of a second. It's really Viper's to win. Of course, we're looking for your top 2 positions to move on, and right now Wheelman solid in second as Dua Loop is coming from back of the pack here to try and get one of those 2 transfer positions into our semifinal. White flag flying for Viper. He gets onto our final lap. Kansas City, Missouri. He's from the other Kansas City across the line, and he's in fine form here in this lucky 8 preliminary race. We go through that dive gate here on that lead lap with Wheelman. Now looking at Dua Loop. He is about to go through that same dive gate. You can see gap and separation. Looks like he may have missed it, but we're ready to wave a checkered flag here in just a moment. Viper making that last turn and across the line. Looks like 4 laps in 2:09 for the W and the win. There's Wheelman finishing up just under 4.5 seconds back in the number 2 spot. And so 1 and 2, Viper and Wheelman moving up to our winners bracket finale. So it is double elimination, no worries there for Dua Loop and Excavator. We will grid them up here in just a little bit in a LCQ. Getting set for your next heat. Sonic FPV, R3, Fix It, and Atrides, and they're already off in a hurry to get things done. Whole shot gonna go to Sonic FPV, R3, looking to jump into the lead. He had Sonic FPV in his sights. Now you're gonna move Fix It up into second. Atrides down into third. R3 trying to catch up to our leader. This one is all Sonic right now as he pushes himself up to the front. And the rest of the field, well, a little bit farther back. R3 still running second. Now Fix It just ahead of R3. We got a battle for second. Looking for your top 2 transfer positions. Now it's R3 just ahead of Fix It. And we are now on lap number 2. Sonic, R3, 1 and 2. A little bit of an issue there at the dive gate for Sonic FPV. He goes back. Now R3 through the dive gate. Fix It was about to make a pass there as well as he crashes at that dive gate. So second place has been hotly contested here in this preliminary round of our lucky 8, and now we have breathing room for Sonic FPV well out in front. R3 now about 2 gates back from him, and Tradies now moving up into third, getting by the downed Fix It on lap number 2. And fair bit back off of our leaders. Sonic FPV and R3 now working on lap number 3. 4 lap races, just like we're going to see a little bit later on here tonight in our next 16, a multi-GP Pro Spec, and our top 16, our championship top 16 as well. Looking at Sonic FPV, still holding off R3, but R3 has found gear. He's only about a gate and a half back as they go on to the final lap. Racing for fun right now. Atrides is about halfway through lap 3. So half a lap back here from our leaders, Sonic FPV and R3. Great line for Sonic FPV as he goes out towards the dive tower, as it were, in the poles of our lineman poles. There's R3 in the lineman poles as well, separated by about 3 seconds here on the track. And now it's a checkered for Sonic FPV, and R3 finishing up just behind him there. Looks like a difference of about 3.3 seconds. Sonic FPV over R3, and they go to our semifinal of the Lucky 8 as Fixit and Atrides now going to move into our consolation bracket. Still with a path, but we need to be first or second, third or fourth. We're going home a little early to enjoy things here in Bonner City, Kansas. The inaugural Multi-GP Pro Spec race. Now tons of pressure on. Third matchup of the night. This is a consolation bracket situation. Top 2 staying alive. We'll have a break of a heat. Bottom 2 eliminated, finishing at the bottom end of that Lucky 8. It's our first elimination of the night. So many to get to. Of course, we're starting our Lucky 8 just as that sun sets off, and there's 2 pilots that we're going to feature there, the bottom part of our screen. One in the next 16, one in the top 16. There's another. There's 2 in the top 16. Top pilots coming out here to support the Lucky 8. See if they can advance in their journey here tonight. There's Two Dog RC walking down the line, confirming our pilots are set to fly. There's Dual Loop, all smiles, ready to have some fun. He's just excited to be able to fly his Multi-GP Pro Spec here tonight. Was having some issues getting that quad in the air earlier in the week, and well, we're in the air. Now we're going to see if we can stay in the competition. Lucky 8, thumbs up all around, and we are about to go green. 2 remain alive with a chance to make it to the next 16. 2 getting high fives and a send-off. Pilots are armed. We're waiting on that go tone, and we are off to the races right there. Looked like Dual Loop might have been the first one off the blocks right there. That new quad to him, as it were. All 4 pilots here working on that front straightaway. Your leader right now is Atrides, was up the number 1 spot, then Dual Loop, Excavator, and Fixit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over to the dive. Atrides leading the game. Good to see some damage coming out of him. Making the trip here from Maryville, Tennessee. A lot of great pilots from Maryville. His neighbors are cheering him on as he gets a little loosey-goosey, and that moves up. Dual Loop into the number 1 spot. Fixit up into second. Excavator third, and Excavator biting it in that elevated gate in the lineman poles. Watching our top 2, Dual Loop and Fixit, trying to stay alive, as it were, into our semifinal, our last chance race in our Lucky 8 so far. They pulled a loss, and now looking for some wins, and the winning continues for them. Dual Loop off to that back section, low side line. And now he's got some company. Atrides and Dual Loop battling at 1 and 2. It's Fixit now trying to catch up. Atrides back in the number 1 spot, just ahead of Dual Loop. They're now halfway through. 2 laps down, 2 to go, as Atrides still leading Dual Loop by just a hair. Top 2 positions is what it's going to take. And of course, Fixit now getting onto that lead lap, but he's about 3 gates back in third as we continue watching Atrides and Dual Loop. Looks like Dual Loop just about had a tighter line as they do that little bit of a corkscrew down and back, and Atrides back into the lead, holding off Dual Loop, but not by much. Dual Loop's got tons of chase cam in this one, and now all eyes on Fixit. He is now 4 gates back, and we're still working on lap number 3. White flag flying, 1 more to go for Atrides and Dual Loop, running 1 and 2. Atrides just ahead of Dual Loop by about 2 gates, maybe 1, as we still have lots of pressure here in that battle for the front of this one. The bragging rights to be the winner of match number 3 here tonight in our Lucky 8. Yet to fly a white flag. Well, we're about to... We wave a checkered right there. Atrides with the win. There's Dual Loop pulling up just 4.1 seconds back in second. That is what it'll take right there. Top two to get through. And journey coming to an end here for Fix It. Making the trip over from Meriden, Kansas. Nice to see a race in his state. Kind of down the road for Fix It. But going to be eliminated here at this point. Third in match number 3. And then fourth, we'll go to Excavator in that one. So that is going to put them 7th and 8th overall in our lucky 8. As we now await our winner's bracket finale. Top two in this will advance to the next 16. They're all winners, first and second in their preliminary rounds of this double elimination bracket. It's Treviper from Kansas City, Missouri, Sonic FPV from Houston, Texas, Wheelman from Lincoln, Nebraska, and R3 from California. What do we get done? Now, top two, of course, going to our next 16. Third and fourth will race in our finale, our LCQ, as it were, versus Dual Loop and Atrides. They're waiting on deck. So this isn't an elimination race, but this is how we punch our ticket to make it into our next 16 from the lucky 8, and off to the races we go. Here is a huge start. They're 4 wide. Everyone taking a turn at the front right now. Sonic FPV just out in front of our field, and now we go underway. R3 pulling ahead. Nope, still Sonic. It's Sonic, Treviper, Wheelman, R3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now someone just got in front of Sonic FPV. That looks to be Treviper now. Treviper and Wheelman, 1 and 2. Sonic and R3, 3 and 4. But it is a tight race as those positions continue to change. Still chasing Treviper, your leader. Wheelman still second. Sonic and R3 within striking distance here on the opening lap. Of course, they're 4-lap races. As we don't quit, we don't weaken. Wow, what a precursor to the racing that we are going to see here tonight. 1 lap down, 3 to go. Chasing Treviper. Looks like we lost Wheelman. Lost his video at least. It's a black screen for him. He's going to be coming up in our on-deck heat. And so Treviper, R3, Sonic, FPV, your running order here as we're now at the midway point. 2 laps down. There's R3 now up into second. And so it's Treviper, R3. Your leader's on to lap 3. And it looks like we just lost Sonic FPV. Sonic FPV now hoping that quad's not destroyed as he is going to come back in our next match, our LCQ as it were. And now it's a little bit of a victory lap here for Treviper and R3. And I say a victory lap just a hair early. Now it's a victory lap for Treviper. Put him on to lap number 4. And let's put on lap number 4 as well, R3. Just having fun. They are next 16 bound. Next time we'll see them racing will be when the sun is down. The LED line track is at its full effect, full force, full send. Treviper leading by about 3 gates here on the victory lap. So he will fly his way into our next 16 of the Multi-GP Pro Spec here in Bonner City, Kansas, just outside of the greater Kansas City area. And just behind him, we finish up with R3. It was about 3 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds separating them. 1 and 2 to advance into our next 16. Prop changes underway. Hopefully not too much damage. Looks like we may be borrowing a lipo as well. There's Heads Up FPV. Evan Turner lending a hand from 533. I believe 4th in qualifying here this week. We'll see him in our top 16 a little bit later on here this evening. As our field is now set, we know a few things. We know R3 and Sonic FPV. No. R3 and Treviper are moving to the next 16. Here in our LCQ, last chance to advance, last chance for romance. Sonic FPV of Houston, Texas. Wheelman, a Lincoln, Nebraska. Dual Loop, a Rockwell, Texas. And Atrides, a Maryville, Tennessee. 2 Texans versus Nebraskan. And a guy from the Volunteer State, Tennessee. Might be pretty good looking. Only 10 I see. Here we go. Pilots about to go green. 2 advancing to the next 16. And we're off to the races. Fantastic start for all 4. Looks like your early leader, once again, Sonic FPV. He is able to make those big launches and get in front of everyone. It's really the gates have gotten his way here in the Lucky 8, and now is a chance to make up for it right now as we're now on that opening lap. It's Sonic FPV, then Wheelman, Atrides, and Do a Loop. 1, 2, 3, 4 here on the opening lap. Still 4-lap races. And chasing Sonic FPV once again. Wheelman in fine form. Looking for a little go-go juice here out of Atrides and Do a Loop. Now, Atrides is not too far back behind Wheelman. We may have some pressure. And it looks like Do a Loop is down. Do a Loop is trying to get back up. And not going to work as he is still on that opening lap. Sonic FPV, Wheelman, and Atrides on lap number 2. With Sonic FPV, our driving force right now in our Lucky 8. 2 of these remaining 3 pilots advancing to our next 16. Sonic FPV has it on lock. That's about a 4-gate lead now. He goes on to lap number 3, 2 down, 2 to go. There's Wheelman on to lap 3, 2 down, 2 to go. There's Atrides on to lap 3, 2 down, 2 to go. Nothing decided as of yet. It's a little bit of a lead for Sonic over Wheelman, and just a hair of a lead. Wheelman ahead of Atrides. Atrides trying to have a tighter line there through that technical section on the far side. And now Atrides 2 gates back in 3rd behind Wheelman. And white flag flying, 1 to go for Sonic FPV. White flag flying, 1 to go for Wheelman, and white flag flying, 1 to go for Atrides. The final lap of your Lucky 8 to see who's advancing to the big show tonight when the sun sets and the spotlight is on. The top 16 and next 16 from them. Pilots in the game at our inaugural Multi-GP Pro Spec Race. Sonic FPV gap in the field by a bunch and gets across the line 4 laps in 2:10. Getting the win by 2.2 seconds over Wheelman. Wheelman finishing up in 2nd for that 2nd ticket to transfer on up. That is going to give us 3rd to Atrides, 4th to Do a Loop. And so their journey coming to an end here tonight, but not last. And that concludes the Lucky 8, the Multi-GP Pro Spec. Join us a wee bit later on for the next 16 and the top 16 from Bonner City, Kansas.